All right, and we're live. So, all right, guys. So we're going to be doing a heated flooring system, and this is something that I think is really going to be helpful to a lot of you. If you've ever had heated flooring, you always want it. I mean, a tiled floor can definitely be cold. We're getting into the winter months here, and I know your family will appreciate it if you had a heated flooring underneath of that tile. So I'm going to be showing you a system that is actually really affordable in my mind. I've done a lot of different heated flooring systems. A lot of them are great. A lot of them make it really easy to run the wire and reconfigure things. But at the end of the day, we're only talking about having a simple wire that is to heat the floor. And so what I'm going to be installing is this system here. I got it off of Amazon. You could go to my Amazon store, check it out. They have multiple different sizes for your room. So I just got a small kit, just a 30 square foot kit. That's really all of the area that I really wanted to heat. And you really should pay attention to that. You don't really want to be oversizing the area and then having too much excess wire. That's really important. But we're going to get into a whole bunch of tips about heated flooring and installing this. And so you can do it yourself and really save yourself a ton of money. And like I said, I've done a lot of other different systems, Schluter, Dietra Heat. I've done New Heat mats, all types of different systems, and they're all relatively somewhat the same. Some of them have some better benefits to it, like the Dietra Heat. You can put it into a mat, and that has an uncoupling membrane. That's also waterproof. That makes it really nice. But again, at the end of the day, you're just putting wires into place, and then thin setting and tiling over top of it. So this particular bathroom is going to be with a mosaic floor, so smaller than 2x2 floor tile. That it comes in a mosaic sheet. We'll hopefully be able to get that next week. But those things are critical for flat floors, and you really can't do anything under 2x2s, like a 2-inch by 2-inch tile over Dietra Heat or any of these membranes. So it's going to be easiest just to floor level it. So that's why I went with the loose wire system. And this thermostat is pretty much, a universal thermostat. A lot of heated systems have this exact, system for it. And in my mind, that's kind of what you're really paying for. You're paying for the thermostat, and the wire is, the wire is the wire. But, a lot of these bigger manufacturers, you might spend $250 just for the thermostat. So to be able to get this and have everything incorporated into it is a really good value if you ask me. And if you've ever done a bathroom remodel, you're thinking about it, you know that budgets can get out of hand. This is a place that you can save a little bit of money for yourself. And I really do feel like if you're trying to decide between different wow factors, like whether it's a rain shower head or heated flooring, I would go heated flooring all day long. You can always easily upgrade a heated or a shower head, or if you wanted to add a handheld or something like that, you can always upgrade to that later. But once you set this tile and you put this heated flooring under it, that's, the time is now for that. The rest of it, you can upgrade later. Even your vanity, maybe get a cheaper vanity, upgrade to that really beautiful one you want later on. Those are kind of easy things to change out, but the heated flooring, it's kind of a done deal once you install this, or you need to do it before the tile, and then that's it. So we'll get into this. We're going to show you that, but check out my Amazon store. Give me a like on this video. Really helps out the algorithm. I'm really trying to put a lot of effort into live streams. We're also doing multiple streams, so I'm all mic'd up on all these different streams. You might hear myself repeating myself. I'm also going to be videoing the actual production, so for better, more polished videos, we're going to have some good videos there. So I'm going to take this off, and we're going to go inside, and we're going to get started. So thanks so much for joining me. Leave a comment if you can, maybe even a question. I might be able to get back to you later on that before we close out the live stream. So take me off, and then get this up. Okay. Okay, so we're back. You know, I do need to get my floor. Maybe.
Do you want me to start in the tub? Or am I starting out here?
Well, I'm going to do the spray foam first because I want to get prepped for the... Yeah, you might as well. I mean, you could probably video most of everything in there, I would think.
Yeah, make sure just, if you want me to adjust any camera, just let me know.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to do an intro on this.
Okay. I get a nice seat.
All right, so I'm going to install a heated flooring system that is really affordable and I think you'll really love. This is going to be something that you can save a little bit of money on when you're doing your bathroom remodel, because a lot of these systems are pretty much basically the same, that just the cost variance can be wildly different. And if you're going to think about doing a wow factor for your bathroom, if you wanted to, get that really nice vanity or get that rain shower head, I really think putting heated flooring in is definitely something you don't want to miss out on. I would definitely go for this first because you're putting this underneath the tile and you can't do it later. You could always upgrade the vanity, get those nicer light fixtures that you might like, but having the heated flooring in your tile is going to be, the time is now when you get started. So I'm going to show you a bunch of tips of how to do this. It's really easy, and yeah, you're going to save a lot of money doing this yourself. Should I do another one? Or
yeah, maybe one more.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe something a little quicker or whatever, just something to choose from.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. So you probably clicked on this video to check out about heated flooring system and something that's affordable for your bathroom or foyer or whatever room that you're actually trying to get floor heating in. I'm going to go really quickly through a bunch of tips on installing this, and it's going to save you a bunch of time and money, and make sure that you do this the proper way. All right, that's good enough. Okay. Well, here, let me just paint one other thing.
You ready?
Yeah. And I want to mention that heated flooring, there's really two major components to it. It's the actual wire that is heated up, and then the thermostat. So each system is somewhat similar and the same. So it's just a matter of how you're actually putting this into place. This particular situation, this is a loose wire system. So we're going to be just running this cable where we want the heat, and then we're going to pour floor level or over top of it. I find that to be the most affordable and easiest way to go. Okay, so first thing you do is you need a multimeter, okay? And you want to put this on the 200 ohm reading.
Hey, hold that. Yep.
So you can see that? Okay, so put it on that setting because that will give you the readings that you need to look on there. I'll show Instagram here. So you want to have this on this 200 ohm reading. This will allow you to test that wire. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
TikTok, here it is, that 200 ohm reading. You want to put it onto that setting. And then YouTube, hopefully you can see this. I don't have a reference here. But
make sure you're pointed in the right direction before you start.
yeah, but you want to put this on the 200K, the 200 ohm setting to test your wires. And this is just a simple multimeter, 20 bucks that you can get at the home stores, so nothing special. And so before you even take it off the roll, like I would just say, as soon as you order this thing, test this, because if there's ever an issue, you want to send this back right away, because if the ohms are off on this and there's some kind of cut in it, it's just going to be problems later on. And again, once you tile everything, you're not going to be able to go back. So on the roll, before you even take it off, don't even take the cellophane off of it. There's always a white tag on this thing, okay? And what it's going to give you is a couple indications as far as the resistance range. It'll give you a range. So this one, and this all depends on the size of roll that you have. So they vary. But this one says between 22 and 48 ohms. So that's what I'm looking for my reading on my multimeter, is between 22 and 48 for this specific deal. And each coil is going to have its own little white tag for you. So basically, you have that on that 200K, and you just test each line. So there's a red, or there's a black and a white, and it doesn't really matter which one you put it on. You just have to have one on each side. And then you want to test and see what this is. So we got 34, 34 basically. And we had to be in between 22 and 48. So that's within the range that is acceptable. So we're good to go. Now you're going to want to test this multiple times throughout the process. So once right on the roll, once when I get it fished up and I have the line run, and then once after the tile installation or after the floor leveler. Just to double check things, because again, you want to do this, you want to do all these tests before you start tiling, so that if there's an issue, you have a little bit more easy time removing that. So the second thing is that you're just basically going to test. Now there's two different ways of that. You could just keep it on that 200 ohm reading there. Just put one on a lead, one on the ground, and you should it should stay saying open line. So if you see a reading there, then there's going to be some kind of cut. So you do that on the black and then on the white. So same aspect. And if you don't get nothing, then you're good. The other way you can do that is just put it on this buzzard sound. So when I touch this, you can hear that sound. So you can just put this on the ground and one of your leads. If you heard the buzzard, then there's something wrong. But if you don't hear a buzzard, you're good to go. And the last thing that you want to test is the actual floor sensor. So this is going to come in a separate package. This has to be run with your cables. So let me get the end here. This is super long too. You don't really need this long. We'll cut more of this off when we bring it up through the wall. Yeah, got tangled up here. Okay. All right, and you can put this on the 20K and just test this, and it should say no. Yeah, so 11.3, and I think there's a rating on this for that. Usually, then the instructions shows on here what you need to be. Dial your multimeter. Okay, so the test, the resistance between 8,000 and 12,000 ohms, so 8 and 12. So testing this, let's just double check. So we should be between 8 and 12, and we're at 11. So that means that our floor heating sensor is in good shape as well. So, all right, good. So again, Instagram again. Put this down to the 200 ohm reading here, and then what we're going to do is just put these on each one of these lines here. And we need to be between 22 and 48, so we got 34, something like that. So we're in good shape. Same here. So this is the ohm reading. Just put it on each one of these wires, and we got 34.2, something like that. So as long as we're in that range, we're good to go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and run our wire through here. Actually, before we even start running this, I want to prep this for a floor leveler, because like I said, we're going to be floor leveling over top of this. So best way to go about that is just to use some spray foam. So spray foam, you always, like when you're doing floor leveler, you want to obviously keep it from going underneath the wall and down into your space below, but also you want to have a perimeter gap all the way around it. So you need to allow for expansion and contraction of the floor leveler itself. Typically you just need about 1/8 of an inch. The spray foam is going to end up giving you a little bit more of that, but spray foam really does work out well, and that's why I'm going to spray it now, so that it has enough time to harden up, so then once I do my priming, I can actually get to the floor leveler. So I'm just going to go all around the perimeter of the room. This stuff is not... It's kind of like... And I do have a gap underneath the tub, so I need to fill that because I don't want all that floor leveler going underneath the tub. If you can't get it there, babe, don't worry about it. Okay, then we're going to go straight across this doorway because we don't want it going out into our carpet area.
You always use the thumb for floor level?
Yeah. Well, not always, but this is a pretty good, awesome way to do it. Believe me, this stuff will escape if you don't seal all the way around here, so make sure you go all the way along. Okay. All right, then around the toilet area, same thing. Okay, so then the second thing we're going to do here is cut my conduit that I have flush with the wall. So I use my oscillating tool to cut that. You all right on that? Okay, so I already have my conduit run up my wall, so I'm just going to use a spare piece of 14-2 so I can grab these wires and fish them up the conduit. Put it in there. Okay. What do I do with my tape? Okay, so now we'll go ahead and take our wire out and run these cold splices up the wall. And we're going to take our floor sensor wire up along with this. And you want to keep this label on here because that's going to be for reference for anybody in case something went wrong. It's also allows you to test things and remember what those readings had to be. So let's go ahead and just tape this onto our fish line. Tape might be. The tag is always a problem. Sometimes using 3/4 inch conduit makes it a little bit easier. I only used 1/2 inch here, so. Just leave that exposed for now. All right, so just wrap this up for now. And we're gonna probably take out a little bit more of this floor sensor because I don't need that much on there. We'll hook this up a little bit later here. So you just want to make sure that it's only the cold splice going into the wall. You don't want to bring in any of the heated cable up through there. Let me just make sure I got. Okay, so then they just come with these little guides here to be able to clip them into place. I don't think there's. So one nice little deal that comes with this kit is this little tester. So you can put these on your wires. It's basically called a loudmouth. And I think I need batteries. Of course it doesn't come with batteries, does it? AAAs. All right, so we'll put this on here. This is going to ensure that I don't nick the wire while I'm installing this. It'll give me an indication if something went wrong. It is a really nice little feature for sure. I'll get my, there you go. So basically on this little, it's called a loudmouth. Basically it'll just be a beeping sound if I ever cut that wire. So basically I just put line 1 and line 2 and then the ground in here. And if I do any damage to it, this thing's gonna signal to me that it went bad. Which is pretty cool. I mean, you won't find this on those other systems that cost a lot more money. You don't even get one of these things. These are pretty cool. And you can use this for other flooring systems later on, you know. This is just a nice little bonus to this system. I'm gonna go my ground. get some AAA batteries.
Smell your hot glue gun.
Yeah. Was it double or triple A? I think it was triple A. Okay. Yeah, triple A. Okay, then just turn it on and the alarm will go off if there's ever an issue. So let's keep that on during the duration of this. All right, so as far as running the cables, pretty simple rolls. It's pretty much 2 inches away from all walls. You don't want to go underneath of your cabinets. I mean, this is going to be a freestanding cabinet, so you'd be okay with that. But if you have a cabinet that goes all the way down to the floor, you don't want to put the heat underneath of there. And you don't want to be too close to your actual toilet either. Obviously for the wax ring, if you use a wax ring. But really, it's just 2 inches away from everything. So 2 inches away from the wall, from the tub, from the vanity. So pretty simple. So let's measure out where we're going to be here. So our vanity is probably going to come out about 22 inches. Okay, so we'll just make this 24. So we don't want to bring our wires past that. And then we want to be 2 inches away from here. So really the heated flooring space that we have here is basically 7 by 4, 28. I got a 30 square foot roll. That'll be enough. So let me just go ahead and run this here. Where is my level? So we'll just mark this to keep it from going past this. Or that's really where we're going to put our guides. And for this, we're just going to screw them into place. What is that? What was that? That wasn't you?
That was a beat that came out there.
I don't know what though. Huh. Okay.
Hot glue gun?
I don't think so. Okay, so now we'll just screw our strips into here. I'm just using 1.25 inch galvanized screws. And these are just basically placeholders, so it's not like they have to be super anchored in or anything. It just needs to hold the wires into place. Whoa.
Is it up there?
I don't know what it is. You're all right on that camera?
Yeah.
If you want to get an angle from standing up too, might not be a bad idea.
I don't know what that noise is.
So about 2 inches away from the wall. So we're going to be looping that around, so I'm going to keep this in about 3 inches or so, because when I loop it around, it's going to take a little bit of space. You could also hot glue these down too if you wanted to, if you didn't want to screw them down. So if you have a basement floor or something you're trying to put this on, you could put it over concrete. You can just hot glue it. And then these are just placeholders, so it's not a real bad idea just to run these through the middle as well. It'll help hold them into place. So if you want to just run a strip down, you can do that as well. It'll kind of make it easier to keep them flat. Because I've definitely made every mistake you can make with some of this stuff. I used to have problems with the wires sticking up, and I'd use little staples to hold the wires down. Bad idea. Staples will eventually, the expansion and contraction of the warm and cold will end up making those staples sever the wires, and then you end up with a bad connection and your floor goes bad. So never staple it, only hot glue any of these wires down. So, and really by the time you're done floor leveling, you're really about the same thickness as a lot of those other systems with the uncoupling membrane. Because even like Dietrich Heat, you're talking a 1/4 inch, plus the tile and stuff, so you're about 3/8 of an inch thick with the thin set layer. So you'll be that with floor leveler over top of this. And that 3/8 to a 1/2 inch of leveler over top of all this will give you about a 3/4 inch overall height of the bathroom floor, which I would say is pretty normal. So it really doesn't raise the floor all that much. And then I do have the hot glue ready to go here, just in case I need to stick it down in an area that it might be popping up. That's just going to help prevent you from having to have a hard time with the floor leveler. So make sure this cold splice stays out of the way here. And then we're just going to bring these wires in between. So 2 inches away. And let's just really simple. Just gonna loop it around. Every third stud will give you about 3 inches. So spacing is, yeah, 3 inches. So I might put a little bit of hot glue on that cold splice. But then, yeah, you're just pretty much looping this around every third stud. This is all going to be right where the walking area of the bathroom is. And that's, to me, that's all that really matters. I mean, you could fill in these areas around the toilet and stuff if you really wanted to, but no one's really going to walk over there. So why waste your money? And again, you really want to have, you don't want to have a lot of extra wire left over. You can't cut this stuff, and it's kind of hard to hide if you don't. Like, there's really no place to take it if you can't go underneath the vanity. Having too much wire is always usually the issue. Because if you wanted to space this out a little bit further, you could too. It's just not going to be evenly warm. $250 for this is a really phenomenal deal. I did run a dedicated circuit for this. All heated flooring systems should have a dedicated circuit, so that could be the difficult part for your installation. You know, running a wire all the way down to your main breaker panel sometimes can be difficult, so. So this is called warming system. I've done this a couple of times. Basement bathrooms, really kind of a must-have if you ask me. It's always cold on a basement floor. But like once you have heat underneath your feet on a tile floor, it's like you really don't want to go back. And they're really not that much. I think it's what, one amp of power per 10 feet of line, I think it is. So this is like basically 3 amps of power. So really, you're not really talking about a lot of energy usage, really, honestly. So it does look like I got some extra wire here, even though I really didn't think I was going to. So we're just gonna fish this around because we still got a lot of space between. So just as long as we stay 2 inches away from the edge. So I do have a little bit of wire left here. Glad I only got the 30 square foot rule. So this is where the hot glue gun is gonna come in handy. So hot glue is definitely a kind of a must for some of this stuff because it helps hold anything that might be lifting up on your channels too. This is always the issue, is having some extra wire, but in this instance it's really not a big deal because I mean really it's the cabinet's 22 inches. We kept this back 24, so we're not going to be really interfering. Plus we're getting a freestanding vanity, so that really almost doesn't really count. So maybe we'll get a little bit of heat here right on the other side of the tub here. Somebody's probably going to walk there all the time, so it actually kind of works out. So we're just going to keep 2 inches away from that tub. Going to use up some of this wire. More hot glue here. Make sure we got some heated flooring right in front of the toilet here. Okay. All right, then we have the floor sensor. So make sure we pull any excess up out of there. We just want to basically put this in between one of these wires. So something like this. Just want to kind of have it evenly spaced so that it's not getting a misreading. So you would need to floor level this if you're doing vinyl plank too. So if you wanted to do the vinyl planks instead of tile, you can. You just need to encapsulate this with the floor leveler. All right, so then with the hot glue, I'm just gonna make sure all my guides are down as flat as it can be. Because I don't really want to use more floor leveler than I have to. Maybe put a little bit underneath my cold splice here. Okay, so it looks good. Okay, so it looks all pretty even. Everything's sitting down well. You can always just hot glue wherever you see a wire sticking up, but the floor leveler should be able to push the rest of that down. I don't like, this guy needs to be spaced out a little bit more here. Just try to stick with your spacing of the 3-inch spacing. So if you see something off, you can just hot glue it and push it over. Just overlook your whole spacing. Looks pretty good. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and prime our floor for the floor leveler, but that really gets our heated flooring system in, so it's not too bad. We still got a green light on here. We don't hear any buzzard, so we're good to go on that. And let's go ahead and prime this floor because it's going to take about a half an hour for that to dry, and then we can floor level over it and be ready to tile for tomorrow. Okay. Is there anybody on? Two. On both?
12.
Yeah. Okay, so for primer, for the self-leveler, I'm going to use Ardex 51, P51. So this you can dilute 1 in 1, so half water, half the primer. And really a gallon really goes a long way, so I'm just going to basically use 1/4 of this. It probably should do it. So just mix that, and then we got to brush it on. Where'd my brush go?
Room.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so mix that up a little bit and then be generous with it and just brush this all in to your substrate. Primer is important for that floor leveler to bond correctly, so don't be stingy with it. And it's going to take, you know, a good half hour for this to dry before you can floor level it. So depends on your humidity level, really. This is the part of the video where you just speed through it 300x, and it looks like no problem at all. It's not hard, it just takes a little bit of time.
Are you gonna come back live for the floor level?
Yeah, we'll come back live in about half hour, 45 minutes, and pour that floor leveler. That'll be a really quick job for the most part. Do you know what time it is?
1:48.
Okay, yeah, we should be good then. Yeah, if there's any questions on there, let me.
So you're saying, is this a heated bathroom floor?
Yep.
What kind of screws did you use?
I just used regular 1.25" galvanized, but you could, I mean, honestly, you could use drywall screws. It doesn't really matter. You could also staple it. I actually had half thought about having the staple gun ready and just stapling them down. But I mean, you can hot glue them all down too. You don't even have to screw them into place, really. They're just whatever you can do to hold them. Honestly, I probably should have stapled. It probably would have been faster and easier to staple them. I could have put staples all over it, you know. But
Somebody just said something about the stable gun.
yeah,
Later on here.
yeah, that would have been easier. Concrete's kind of where it's a pain because you got to basically hot glue it, and sometimes, you know, it can be problematic getting stuff to glue properly to concrete, especially if it's dusty and, you know, it's just, but whatever you can do to keep it flat. I mean, in the basement, a lot of times you have the flexibility making that floor leveler, you know, 1 inch thick if you wanted to, so it doesn't even really hinder anything. But if you're in a floor like this where you're trying to minimize things, I mean, and that's the real benefit of something like Dietrich and these mat systems, is they're all really flat and they allow you to pinch the wires in. So it definitely is superior to that in a lot of ways. And like the new heat mats, I mean, they're really super thin, and you get to make those like a custom made mat, and they have standard sizes too, but those are really nice because you just thin set them down and they're all flat. But you know, they're literally like, even a mat for this size right here would have been about 600 bucks probably. You know, so to me, save $400 just to run these wires. It seems like it's worth it to me.
Why is your drywall purple?
It's just a moisture resistant. That's the kind they sell over here in Pittsburgh. You know, typically people see green, a green board. Moisture resistant is what it's considered. But it's just, I don't know. It might be a gimmick for all I know, but I just always use that in the baths, the moisture resistant. They say it's supposed to help with mildew and stuff, but most important thing for a bathroom is getting good ventilation in here. So if you have that, you shouldn't have to worry too much about mold. All right, so that's all primed. We'll set that for about a half hour. Or until it, you know, basically the way I test this is you have to put a little bit of water on it. And if your water isn't all cloudy, then you're good. But usually half hour, 45 minutes. You really don't typically want to put a fan on it. You just want to let it dry naturally. And you can do it. And you can basically have up to 48 hours before you have to floor leveler. Anything after that, you're going to have to reapply a new thing of primer. So we'll be back. We'll do the floor leveler. That'll be a quick tutorial. I'm hoping 4 bags will do this. Might even be less than that. We'll see where we get to. Because I'm really not ultimately trying to make it level. I'm just trying to make it flat. So, all right, Instagram. We'll be back. Thanks so much. All right, TikTok, we'll be back. The 5 that are staying here. You're doing it wrong, Jordan. Really? Okay. All right. I do a bathroom drywall, mainly learning the tips a lot. It's great to hear, Justin. Thanks a lot. All right, TikTok, we'll talk to you soon. And where do I pause this at?
That one I don't know.
Okay. All right, let's go on to YouTube here. All right, guys, so hopefully you're able to see how that goes. That wasn't too bad. It was about an hour, I guess, to run that. And like I was mentioning there, I mean, you know, you're saving yourself a good 400 bucks by doing the loose wire system like that. Now, obviously you got costs with floor leveler. Floor leveler definitely is not cheap. So, you know, I understand that. But, you know, the floor leveler was kind of a must for doing this. Hey, Fast and Hatch, thanks, man. I really appreciate 10 bucks. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat on that. I don't know how long you posted that, but thanks so much. Yeah, I've been putting a lot of content out, so there's definitely a lot to watch. Really trying to make these live streams interesting, as interesting as I can. So I hope you got some stuff out of it. That was actually, that turned out a good camera angle on that. That spray foam is definitely the way to go, though. Definitely the way to contain it. But we got about a half hour's worth of time here that we got to wait for until we're ready to basically self-level that. So we're going to self-level it, go over that. And then the voltage requirement mic, it's basically based off of the tab of the actual wiring system that you have. So main fan is from the shower cam. Yeah, it's from the shower cam, correct. So yeah, definitely thanks DST, I appreciate it. Again, you can always go, you know, check out these systems. Here, let me turn on my internet. This system, this is the 30 square foot, you know, warming system is what it's called, and really great value. So definitely check that out. And I think it's a real affordable way to go. So we'll be back. I'll be back probably here, hopefully around 2:30, 2:45, and we'll do the self-leveler. And that'll be a really quick breeze, but there's a couple tips I want to be able to show you on that. So thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next video here.